All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is Two Chambers of the Big Obo Wrestling Podcast. Back with the good fella Jamal the Giant Crab. We just watched day 2 of the WWE UK Championship Tournament, and man, I'm coming down right now because it was really good. Not being a hype boy or fanboy or anything, but it was really good. First off, I'm gonna run a couple of things by you that I ran past Silly Sellers yesterday. First off, how do you feel about the belt?
If you don't know that the belt, where it comes from, it looks like the pound, their money in England. So it's reflective of the United Kingdom itself. And basically they took like the £5 note and put it on a belt. So I think it looks very good. It's not a color, thank God, like the god-awful Raw belt and the hideously colored purple Cruiserweight belt.
Yeah.
But I really like the belt. It looks like it should belong to the UK. And I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to start off with that because obviously there was a little bit of a confidence loss from the fans that the WWE can produce a nice looking belt, but this belt was absolutely nice. It looked good around the winner's waist, and yeah, just all around, this was a good tournament, and the prize piece definitely solidified it for me on that note. But also, before the conclusion of today, your initial pick, you did tell me that it was Wolfgang. So before we start going about the results from today, how do you feel about Wolfgang's overall tournament appearance and his matches? And do you think he got the platform he deserved for people who did not know who he was?
Well, let's just say that first off, when we're talking about a tournament like this, same thing with the Cruiserweight tournament, same thing with the other regional tournaments that the WWE is rumored to be producing over the next few months and years. It's not something to say that just because we, as Americans or just not fans of British wrestling hardcore, that we don't know who he is. So, did he get the proper stage or platform for it? That's not really the case because they're producing this show for them, and it just so happens to be produced by the WWE for the network, which we can see also. So to answer your question directly, sure, I think all of them got a great stage. There's certainly something to build off of for each wrestler that made it to the tournament. Obviously, people will know Tyler Bates' name, as his name is trending around the world right now. Same thing with Pete Dunn. But overall, I think it was a good showing from everyone involved. Obviously, there were some names that people wanted to see there that couldn't be there for obvious reasons. But yeah, I think they did a pretty darn good job of it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I said yesterday from the reaction show, I could see the measures of the success taken from the CWC and them capitalizing on that to bring a better product, to not make the same mistakes as they did the first time with this one. Obviously, we know the end game with there being a weekly televised show, so that's good. We see storylines, we see feuds already being built that there's still interest in. I mean, granted, William Regal, they haven't announced was he going to be the GM or what his role is going to be with this programming, but there's going to be some intrigue if he's shown or if he is running it, however that may be. Also, you see, like I said, feuds between wrestlers that happened during this match. You saw some controversy, so there's still a lot. The CWC, I think, concluded with a satisfaction of a good tournament, but what's next? And I mean, I don't know if it's been penciled in, but I assume that everybody for this tournament will be part of the program. So just not the whole waiting around to see like who's going to actually show up for Raw at the time their debut or whatever it's going to be. So I thought they did a good job overall with that.
That's actually what we don't know. We do know that these guys are signed with WWE. What we don't know is what's next and what this show is going to be about. When it's going to be, will it air live, on the network around the world? Will it be something that's taped? Where will they have it? Will it be throughout England? in Ireland for some reason, which England and Ireland, they've kind of been beefing about that for like the last 100 years. Finn Balor's signature move is actually celebrates the Irish kicking the English ass about 100 years ago. So it's kind of weird to see an Irish presence there from Balor and Fit Finlay and Devlin, but whatever.
I think it's a big blur, considering the historical information that you're dropping. I think it's a big blur to them to say like the UK is all of this together and there's no beef.
Well, you can say that the UK is all in this together, but you can also have Jamaicans there, or Indians, or people from British Honduras.
Yeah.
And you know, it could be the Commonwealth Championship, but that's a different problem. Yeah. We just don't know about the show, and I hope that the show comes about quickly. I hope that it complements the rest of live programming on the WWE Network. And I hope that they get it done and keep striking while the iron's hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get into it today. You want to run down the card, or you just want to jump around a little bit? Well, I guess we can start by saying your match of the day.
Well, I'm actually looking at the card right now. It's my match of the day is actually Mark Andrews versus Pete Dunne. I think that was the match of the tournament.
Me too.
And it's not to say that both of those guys had just a stellar match. You didn't know who was going to win.
Yeah.
I know that people will say that the championship final is probably the best match of the tournament because of the high stakes that it had for it.
Yeah.
But as far as a wrestling standpoint, Mark Andrews versus Pete Dunne was just very, very technically sound. It's the type of wrestling that I like. A lot of chain wrestling, a lot of counters, just a lot of different maneuvers and improvisation that instead of just 4 shoulder blocks and a running clothesline in the pin.
I can say that match is which my favorite as well, and I also tweeted it, but it also is more or less my expectation of what I want to see more in 205. And I like to say that obviously Michael Cole already marked it out, but Pete Dunne is, I think, 205, which makes him a cruiserweight. Right. And
well, a bunch of those guys are under 200.
Yeah, for sure. But I just want to emphasize the point that you see that he's not a high flyer. You can see the different style of wrestling that he brings that, by cruiserweight, all you're thinking is just luchador type of style. So, just to expand, other people's horizons on that. If you look at Pete Dunne and you see what he brings and how he commands the ring with all different types of weight, both bigger and smaller, it's just hopeful that you get to see other people who is in 205 live that could do exactly the same, get the same opportunity. And I think with fans, the casual WWE fans being exposed to so many different styles now, that you just have to be appreciative to just the big bruise, more appreciative than just the big bruisers and cruiserweights, that you see there's other things. Catch wrestling is a big and historical style of wrestling that I don't think the casual WWE fan gives knowledge to or recognition, but it's there.
Well, yeah, but you can say that about anything. The casual fan doesn't care. The casual fan thinks the pyrotechnics are a part of the wrestling experience. No, I mean, seriously. There's a difference for the casual fan that goes to a house show and you hear how people are disappointed, like, oh, this is it. This isn't the big raw production. But no, it's a house show. So the casual fan doesn't care about catch wrestling or grappling or Greco-Roman or strong style or British strong style or the bruiserweight, as Pete Dunne likes to refer to himself. Yeah. The casual fan marks out for John Cena and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing, but it is what it is. I think that part of the problem with 205 Live is part of the reasons why I don't want anybody in this tournament to come over. The cruiserweights, styles of wrestling, whether it is high flyer or strong style or what have you, yet what they're selling us is only the high flying luchador cruiserweights. Dean Malenko, and I keep going back to this, Dean Malenko is a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
He is not a high flyer.
Not at
So
all.
to say that,
In a world of where high flyers was really making a name for themselves in the mergers of different productions,
right.
A style such as Dean Malenko was quickly overlooked. Wasn't flashy. I like this theme. I really like this theme, Ashley.
Oh, it's a great thing.
Not the flashy attire. Went in there, did what he had to do, and was out.
Right. Right.
That's why
and
he
I
has
think
a
that
job
that's
still. Because he
and
had
I think true. I think that that's great. But I think that the moment that you say, "Oh my goodness, what's the diversity we have here with the different styles and how are these matchups going to work?" and you create that intrigue, and then a couple weeks later on 205 Live, or after the cruiserweights moved to 205 Live, you go, "Well, this is the high flying action that you can expect." Well, which is it? And I think that that's the problem with the cruiserweights is that one of the many problems with the cruiserweights. And that's why I hope that even though a lot of these guys in the UK tournament are under 200, British wrestling is British wrestling. And the way that it is needs to stay in its purest form, and that's what makes it unique. Putting an Extreme Rules match is not the same thing as ECW One Night Stand. Those are separate things. They feel the same. They don't look the same. And the WWE style of wrestling is just that for itself. I don't have a problem with it, mostly, but New Japan is more my scene. British wrestling is more my scene. Australian wrestling is more my scene because they do a little bit different things. And I think that WWE, I just hope that they keep it, whatever they do going forward, they just keep it true to what got them here. As far as this UK tournament is concerned, these guys put out the best of their abilities, all of them. And we obviously see Tyler Bate in a heck of a win in one of the longest matches of the tournament at over 15 minutes. Just going forward, I hope they keep British wrestling British.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
Okay, so let's say a couple of quick questions real quick. Like I said, a quick reaction show review about it. Obviously, if we haven't already mentioned, the championship match was between Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, which was a phenomenal match. Really, really good, crisp. These guys, first of all, Tyler Bate being 19, which if you didn't watch or under a rock or watch it on mute, you've heard numerous times. But you can look at the guy and you can honestly say that for a 19-year-old, he's really well polished. I'm not sure how old Ho Ho Loon was or is. I'm sorry, but I know he wasn't he? No. Noam Dar was considered the youngest, and I think then Ho Ho Loon from the CWC. But Noam Dar, we've seen him around. We know he can work. But Ho Ho Loon obviously is somebody that this was an opportunity that he was just able to get into the ring and show what he could do. He
Ho Ho
looked
Loon
like
is 29.
He's 29.
Yes. Yeah, he's 29.
Who? I know I'm thinking about Ho Ho Loon. Okay. So I'm just obviously maybe I'm just looking at it from an experience level there. Because he was the guy that came from right. I know he was the youngest. Ho Ho Loon was the guy that came from like the office job or something like that, right?
Yeah, he literally started his own wrestling promotion in Hong Kong because they really don't do that there, and kind of made literally something from nothing.
Well, and I guess my whole point is, besides the age, is that's what a rookie looks like. I didn't see that from Tyler Bate. I see a lot of potential, a lot of upside. Obviously, we didn't get any mic work from him, but in the ring, he is crisp as they come. His spots were really safe, in other words, and I'd rather have had a heel with the belt here, but I feel confident with a face such as him being able to carry a match.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. You say that he looks polished and all this stuff, but what exactly are we basing that on? Because again, I think a lot of people that have this particular style and this gimmick and stuff like that, and we see it all the time at NXT, no matter how long they've wrestled. What exactly is the end goal here? If you want to see these people on Raw, that's going to be different because the WWE style is just that. It's their own. Your British style is something different. So if we're grooming these guys to, main event, on Raw and SmackDown and eventually transition over, assuming that this British, wrestling league or whatever they're going to call it from WWE is going to be like a British NXT. Well, if the end goal is for Tyler Bate to be on Monday Night Raw, God help us, because I think we're going to see a lot of the same thing that kind of makes you nervous about the NXT guys.
Yeah.
I just hope that that's not the case. And I remember Tyler Bate because he was in Chikara a couple years ago, and he's good, but a lot of people are good. But does he fit this WWE mold or in the mainstream? I don't see it. That doesn't make him good though.
As much as you talk about, well, what does that mean? I think there is a sense of identity change in the WWE. I allude to a big signing such as Tommy N, who does not look like a traditional PG era type of guy, but in fact was a big signing, not just from the perspective of us being indie fans, but it seems to be sort of say a lateral thing with all people to know that this guy was brought over to the WWE. And with him getting the sort of say endorsement and recognition, makes me think that they're a little bit more condoning of it. I mean, granted, I can remember being in middle school and high school where like tattoos was frowned upon, and it gave a stereotype. But now everybody's tatted up, and it's just overlooked now. It's just art, and people are a little bit more.
Michael Cole yesterday said he had a few of them.
Yeah, did that. So maybe we are slowly but surely progressively seeing a change. Maybe we're seeing the art of Triple H doing some work in the background that's actually coming to light now, and he's more of a like, I'm gonna show you something, here's my results, Vince, what do you think? Are you gonna go with it? Because this is obviously putting money in your pocket, so you're not gonna go against, you wasn't sure, but I got a little gutsy or ballsy and did it anyway, and now look. So I don't know, maybe that's what's going on, but nonetheless, of everybody that you've seen in the tournament, besides the people who was in the championship, who do you think is somebody now that's really well perceived that maybe nobody absolutely knew that is going to be a future star?
Well, that's hard to say because obviously the UK tournament was in the UK, and they shot out a lot of the main UK promotions over there, specifically Progress and ICW. And the WWE has been working with them similar to how they've been working with Evolve for the last couple years.
Right.
So it's hard to say over here, what these guys, who's over. I know that a lot of the reaction that I was feeling as I was live tweeting and I'm seeing the reaction come in is that a lot of people, Mark Andrews, maybe because he's just known from TNA.
Yeah. And the style is.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I thought Roy Johnson had a pretty good showing that made really stand out. Saxon Huxley, maybe the greatest name ever.
Everybody wants a little bit of Jesus in their life, right?
Well, yeah. I don't know. That there's a group of people that might have a problem with that. But that's a different podcast. I thought Tucker was actually pretty good versus Tyler Bate as the last match yesterday. We did see Danny Burch, who infinitely did better in this tournament versus his entire run in NXT. Trent Seven, with the Rainmaker, had a really good show. So these guys are there for a reason. Even Jordan Devlin.
Did I catch that? His move, I know his move is the same as the Rainmaker, but were they calling it the Rainmaker?
No, it's the 7-star lariat.
That's right. Hold on, you threw me in the trance for a second. That's right. Yeah. I thought Sam Gartwell was actually pretty good too.
I think that's kind of the thing where it comes down to, they did well. The tournament is what it is. They knew how it's going to go. And you can see as they started to integrate more of those crowd reaction shots after a big spot, because they know what it is. Yeah. It's a work.
Yeah.
And that was cool to see. The UK fans definitely bring a different atmosphere than we're used to in North America, which is, it's whatever. But I just think in general, it's hard to pick like a favorite, a guy that really stood out. I thought Jordan Devlin did pretty well. Certainly some names to know. But I gotta ask you though, who do you think would that other than Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay, because you know that they couldn't show up because of contract reasons. But who outside of those two, who do you think was a tournament snub?
Meaning, when you say snub, somebody that
That should have been there that wasn't.
Oh, Wade Barrett. Because the reason why I'm going to say Wade Barrett the reason I'm going to say Wade Barrett as more like a cop-out type of answer is because of the fact that before his departure, he needed an identity. He needed more like an identity recycleness or something. And I thought the tournament would have been a good job to once again reintroduce him to, you know, his origins and his style of wrestling, because all down the line he should have been a star and he was just misused. But the other obvious answer, like I tweeted as well, is Drew Galloway. I thought Drew Galloway is very, very underrated on the indie scene. TNA means nothing. 3MB means absolutely nothing. And and the work he's been doing in Evolve and you know, other indie shows and whatever minor work he's been doing in TNA, I thought this was the opportunity that he deserved to take it another notch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know though. I'm trying to think of somebody else in English, sort of saying who comes to mind for you.
I know that it can't happen, but I would love to have seen Rockstar Spud come through.
Yeah.
I think that would have been fantastic, but he's working with TNA, and apparently Damian Sandow has lost his damn mind and he's become like this weird.
There's something I don't want to talk about.
I don't know what that is. Good for him though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably like the biggest one that comes to mind. He really should have been in the tournament. I think if you're going to have that non-tournament match between Adrian Neville and Aleister Black, as he's now known.
I'm so confused because that is not what his name came out to today. I was a little confused trying to find his Twitter name because it was Tommy N. Then I realized that it did change. Nobody else needs to be anything Black, okay?
Well, there's already a Tyler Black and a PJ Black, and now it's Aleister Black and Sirius Black, and it's all of them.
Wrestling is the only place that it is probably cool to be Black.
Well, I mean, Trump was in wrestling, so I don't know about that.
Just play, go ahead.
So but I think overall, my question for you is: do you think the success of this UK tournament, how does that shape or change your opinion at all about a live pay-per-view? Maybe not WrestleMania, but a major pay-per-view in the UK.
Yeah, it needs to happen, and you know what? A combination of historical information and what you said. SummerSlam needs to be back in the UK.
Yep.
Make it happen. Point blank. It happened before. Make it happen again.
Yeah, SummerSlam could come back to Wembley.
Yeah, book it for 3 years.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Why not? They'll make to keep it PG. They'll make a ton more money than they made in Brooklyn. That stadium alone is going to bring more revenue than the Barclays Center.
Well, that's true because just based on the size of the two venues. The problem that I have with the UK live event is, number one, the time. Will WWE put a live event on pay-per-view, not in prime time? You got to remember that not everybody has the WWE Network. Some people do still have to buy pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And that is, whatever it is. So that is a thing that could happen. If you are in an area where you don't have the network, which is not North America, but still an area where you don't have the network and you have to buy a pay-per-view, are you willing to pay for a pay-per-view that starts at noon out west, or a little bit earlier than the 8 p.m. Eastern start time for most events, 7 for a bigger event? So that's the thing. Also, most importantly is it's not prime time for America. Are you willing to come home early from whatever event you have during the day, instead of settling in on your couch at 8 o'clock, to be at home by 3 p.m. on a Sunday for a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam or another event.
Well, look, it can't be WrestleMania because WrestleMania is 10 hours long, so that's just not possible. And SummerSlam.
Well, it could be WrestleMania.
No, it can't.
What? It absolutely could be WrestleMania. WrestleMania starts at 7.
It starts at 6 here if it's in America, and it doesn't end till 11. You're not going to put that in Europe, and what would that make it start here? 11 in the morning?
No, that's silly. WrestleMania starts at 7 p.m. It was 6 because you were in Dallas last year.
It still started an hour early. Didn't it start at 5? I mean, it started at 5 there for us. 6 here.
The pre-show started at 5.
The pre-show started at 2.
WrestleMania was not 6 hours last year.
Yes, it was 2 hours early. 3 hours early. My bad. Oh yeah. Remember, it was just insane. It was insane.
Well, it took you guys 3 hours to get into the building. I do know that. But with that said,
yeah.
Maybe not WrestleMania then, but with a successful event, and they've had successful events before. NXT London was in December of 2015. The Insurrection pay-per-views were back in the 90s. In Your House was over there a couple times. And they do come around for Raw and SmackDown twice a year. But those events are tape delayed.
Yeah.
I think a live pay-per-view, they're well overdue for it. Put money in the bank over there. I think that's an important enough pay-per-view. And I think it is something that you can have live. But do you run the risk of alienating your core audience, which is America, by having an event start 5 hours earlier than normal?
I think they're going to take a good look at the NFL analytics to how they're doing their England games. I don't
think that's a fair comparison.
I think it's a good margin to start. I think it is.
I don't think it's a fair comparison because the NFL games are regionally based. And so if you have Jacksonville versus Indy, they're both in the Eastern time zone. They can put that game on at 2 in the morning from Japan, and people are going to watch. So
I get what you're saying, but
the entire country at the same time can watch this event, which starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 a.m. No, 10 a.m. in Hawaii. And that's for a regular 8 o'clock GMT start time.
Well, at the bottom line, it's a possibility it can be done. I think that at some point they will pull the trigger, no matter if it's a smart move or not. But I don't know.
Well, I think it could be cool. I would like to see it. It would give me a reason to go to the event if they put SummerSlam over there, because this is the last year for SummerSlam, as the current contract states, in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to happen. As far as the event goes, this UK tournament, I would say it's a success. The crowd was hype. We were hype. They ain't hype, but
you know it, bro.
Oh God. But the rumors are the WWE, this is the jumping off point for I believe, a live pay-per-view special over there.
Yeah.
And B, a regional tournament down the road, be it in South America or Central America, or south of Texas, basically.
Yeah.
In the Orient, which we've already seen live programming from Japan. NXT just got back from Australia.
Right.
In India, the Middle East. They're making inroads in China. Do you think that this UK tournament will have the necessary impact to bring WWE as a truly global brand with live wrestling, live regional wrestling around the world?
I don't want to answer that yet. I want to take some time to really think more or less what's the end result of everything. I definitely think we should get together on Wednesday to talk more about that, let things settle in a little bit, see what else comes out on Facebook Live and other things and all the other platforms that they leak a little bit more information out about. But this is a good start. There's a lot of positive. I do have a question for you, considering now that we have 2 tournaments in, which is the UK and the CWC, and we still have the Womens Tournament to sometime maybe this year happen. Which, as of right now, which of the two is the better for you?
That's tough because I don't think they can. The only way that you can really compare the two is to just say that they're both tournaments. The fact that the cruiserweight tournament was live. I'm sorry.
I don't agree with that either because one thing you want to think is too. There was two sets of individuals of wrestlers that nobody knew. You put 16 and I think 32, and nobody knew who they were. And we're talking about the casual fan.
Right, which is hard to say because I don't think we're casual fans.
Okay.
Because when I saw the list of cruiserweight tournament competitors, I knew that was appointment television for that 10 weeks. When I saw the list of UK tournament competitors, I said, yeah, wherever I am in the world, I'm going to be watching live.
Okay, so it was okay. So from the casual fan point of view, and then the fan, wrestling fan that knew, which group of talent do you think was recruited better for the respective tournament? Did the Cruiserweight Classic? Now think about this: the Cruiserweight Classic, they have more people, but of all the known cruiserweights in the world that could have participated, did they do an A+ job in recruiting, or did they go subpar with like, we'll just use this guy because we need him and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, that's another tough thing because I don't think the casual fan knows or cares who Kota Ibushi is. I don't think the casual fan knows or cares, why Noam Dar is awesome.
Yeah.
The casual fan doesn't know or care why Pete Dunn is a dude that you don't want to meet in a dark alley. That's kind of the thing. I think the casual fan is waiting for the British Bulldog to make an appearance. Spoiler alert, he can't make it.
You think about that question for a little bit as well as I'm going to think about it. I'm going to
ask you a question right now. I think that the better participation, I would have to say it's the CWC because you saw the same amount of variety of styles in both tournaments. But I think that because of it being, tangible, we know exactly what we're getting after this. We know that the belt was coming. We know that the show they're going to be a part of Raw. We know exactly what's coming, and I think that's something, at least at that time, to be excited about. With this thing, we don't know what's going to happen. Will they even talk about this on Raw tomorrow?
That is a good question. That's
what is this show?
I was gonna say, there definitely needs to be a point of just soaking it all in, just to see what all this translated to. There's definitely enough to talk about for a whole hour in the show. So overall, did you have a good taste in your mouth technically after the end of this?
Pause. Secondly,
pause.
Was the show overall good? Yes. You really can't go wrong with consecutive nights of live wrestling. And the fact that more than a few.
There's a thing called Raw on Monday and SmackDown on Tuesday.
And you know what? People watch. And I'm not one of those people.
You can go wrong. You can go wrong now.
Yeah, well, that's true. You can't go wrong. But the fact that you have Raw, you have SmackDown, you have 205 Live, Wednesday is Ring of Honor, Thursday is TNA, and then you have a day of rest before you got 2 days of the UK tournament, and we started all over again. That's a good thing. With that said, I forgot about Lucha Underground. And that's a good thing. With that said, after into this tournament, and we saw, the basic stories being told and, coming from nowhere and stuff like that. And apparently England is a terrible place to grow up. Everyone mother's just abandoning their children and they have to get jobs at pubs and fight for a living. With that said, it's like, yes, it was a successful tournament. I enjoyed it. Mark Andrews and Pete Dunn was my match. And these matches weren't long either. They were anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. Yeah. The main event or the championship match was phenomenal. 4.5 out of 5 stars if you people care about that.
Yeah.
But it was, I would definitely be down for it. And then most importantly, I want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
You know, I want to know what Tyler Bate is doing right now. I want to know how the show is going to come out. I want to know when is it going to air. That's something that will make me get the network. Between that and NXT, yeah, that's worth $10 a month. But as far as Raw tomorrow, people only care that Lesnar is going to be back.
Yeah, I again, there's a lot of unknown questions moving forward. We do know that they will have a weekly televised show. When does it start? I'm sure they're going to mark it all off on Raw tomorrow. But I'm patient. We'll see what happens. I'm still, fingers crossed that 205 definitely progresses as well too, and hopefully they can coincide with each other and overall just better product coming from the WWE Network as far as live wrestling. So, but for my closing remarks from the tournament, it was great. I was glued in for 4 hours, 2 today, 2 yesterday, and it ended well on a good note to the fact that I'm satisfied. I got to know some new wrestlers. I got to know some backgrounds. Obviously, everybody from the UK has been mugged in their life, and nobody had a happy childhood. But okay, it doesn't matter. They're good wrestlers. I can honestly say that I'm not a mega fan of anybody besides probably Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, obviously, because they was showcased the most, and I like the storytelling that was being brought by them. But even the people that didn't get a lot of time, they're still intrigued, and there's still a lot more that I want to see. So I look forward to seeing what the WWE does next, and hopefully Triple H is manning it so that it stays good. It was good to shout out to Michael Cole too for being let off the chain today, to be able to actually call a match, a skill that I forgot he actually had, but he did a good job. Him and Nigel McGinn, they were good together, and I'm not going to take that away from him. I thought this is some of the best Michael Cole calling that I've seen or heard in a while. So, on my note, this tournament was a 4-star tournament because it was just really well paced. It was worth the time that I dedicated to it, and there's intrigue for more.
I think that the tournament itself, overall, I would give 3.5 stars. And the reason why I only say 3.5 is because Michael Cole is terrible as a commentator. You can after 20 plus years in the business, he does not know moves. He absolutely does not know moves. He kept calling the wrong move for the wrong guy. He tried to do the emphatic. That's the move that's going to the signature move, but it's not the finisher, and he did not know the difference between the two. He was literally time
he made that mistake. I heard that too.
The only time
the only time I've heard him made that mistake this weekend. You talk about what he called Pete Dunne's his that
was the most recent time. Okay. But yes, when Dunn gave Andrews the X-Plex outside of the ring, Michael Cole originally called that the Dunn's finisher move. What was the other guy? Connors. He said that he kept referring to his finisher move, "Don't look down," erroneously, and even other things. He kept calling the Howling, which is a senton splash. He kept calling it Swanton Bomb. That's not Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's not 6'4" at 255. That is called the Howling. That's his move, and you know that. He has notes, and he's not looking at him. No, I refuse. I can't forget him.
So, okay, Michael Cole, look at notes, you're a bad guy. Don't look at notes, you're a bad guy. Yeah, okay, but to each his own. I thought he did a good job.
Michael Cole is trash, and I hope he doesn't make it to Raw tomorrow.
Anywho, any other closing remarks from you before we got out of here?
I just hope that by Wednesday we know something more. I definitely have some news on Brock Lesnar's schedule coming up, so listen to that for Wednesday. I know that you guys were talking about Balor's return at the Rumble. I have some news on that, and so some wrestling news, sprinkling little wrestling news all the way around, and also we have to talk about Xavier Woods' 15 seconds of Blue Velvet Magic. Singing the greatest theme song I've ever heard.
Hi, dog. Yeah, well, anyway, like I said, Wednesday we'll get something cracking, or some more remarks on the UK tournament, some news that may leak out from there, Raw, SmackDown review, all that good stuff. So, but anyway, we'll everybody listening for this quick reaction video, appreciate it. And tweet us anything that you want to ask, or anybody looking to join in on the conversation, just shoot me a message and we'll make it happen. But as far as me, tournament was good feeling. Get ready to watch some football, eat, chill out for the rest of the night, and yeah. So for 2 Chainz and Jamal the Giant Crab.
Yep.
Big Go Belt Wrestling Podcast. We'll catch you guys Wednesday with the full episode and review of the UK Championship and more.